How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the minimum wage. Now, why am I doing this video today? I'm glad that you asked. During the debate last night between Trump and Biden, the subject was brought up. Should we raise it to $15, lower it? Should it be no minimum wage? What are we going to do with the minimum wage? Before we even get into that, let's roll the clip from last night. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what was said there. Then I give you my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We are talking a lot about struggling small businesses and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum wage.
I do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out, too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under. They're not going to be able to make it back. They passed a package that allows us to be able to call PPP. Money is supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them. It's not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to immigration,
one thing very
but I
quickly,
want
he
to get
said we
your
have to
reaction.
help our small businesses by raising the minimum wage. That's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont. Every state is different. It should be a state option.
You said very
recently. We have
recently.
to help. It's very important. We have to help our small businesses. How are you helping your small businesses when you're forcing wages? What's going to happen, and what's been proven to happen, is when you do that, these small businesses fire many of their employees.
You said very recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Is that still the case?
And I would consider it to an extent, but
in a
what I really like,
in
a second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state option. Look, I've lived in different places. I know different places. They're all different. Some places, $15 is not so bad. In other places, other states, $15 would be
Okay, President
ruinous.
Trump, thank you. Quick response, Vice President Biden.
2 jobs, 1 job, be below poverty. People are making $6, $7, $8 an hour. These first responders, we all clap for as they come down the street because they've allowed us to make it. What's happening? They deserve a minimum wage of $15. Anything below that puts you below the poverty level. And there is no evidence that when you raise the minimum wage, businesses go out of business.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, straight away, I think what Trump said made all the sense in the world, and not so much for Biden. Let's start with Biden first. He says that raising the minimum wage will help small business. How? How does it make any sense? Because you got to understand what that is. You're artificially creating a wage that you got to meet as a small business. All right. And you understand, just working as a regular person, it's not that easy to make ends meet sometimes. It's the same thing for a small business owner. They're the same as anybody else out there just trying to make a living. So you got this real high wage. It becomes a very high barrier to entry. You're trying to get some more employees to become competitive and to get things done faster and quicker, more efficiently, but you can't do it because you can't afford it. So you can't really grow as a business. But if you got a lot of money, if you got all kind of investors, if you're super rich or whatever, you can do that because you have enough money to go way into debt, way into the red, as they say, to pay some people to make a thing before you turn a profit. But you can't really do that if you are a small business. Okay, you might try to get into debt as a small business, trying to get these crazy loans with crazy high interest rates. It becomes a barrier that makes it almost impossible for you to be able to succeed and grow as a small business. So how does it help a small business? I don't really understand. Okay, the money got to get paid from somewhere. It does not come from the sky. What Trump said made more sense. First of all, each place is different. So to raise it on a federal level does not make a whole lot of sense, because let's say you're in rural Alabama somewhere, right? Or where I was born in West by God, West Virginia. Shout out to all you guys up there on the mountain. But if you're raising it to $15 out there, it's going to be devastating because the industry's not there. The money is not there to support that kind of money. All right. Only a Walmart or a Target or something like that might be able to afford it. I was reading a study and it said that if Walmart wanted to raise their wages to $15 an hour for like 1 million employees, it would cost them $5 billion per year. $5 billion. So 2/3 of their profit will get spent in the wages right away. And what that would mean is if you have an underperforming Walmart, like a low income area, small town, your store might close down because you're not going to perform very well. You may not make that 3.5% profit margin if you have low foot traffic, low sales, and a high minimum wage. It doesn't really add up. Okay, they'll close your store to prevent losing on you, and they'll focus on the stores that actually make money to have the company be profitable. That's kind of how it works. Okay, there's no point having your store open if you're losing money. That's the way it is. So if you're a big business, you might benefit from the minimum wage being raised. Okay, you might even see a Walmart or a Target or somebody like that advocate for the government to raise the federal minimum wage. Why? They could pay more money on their own, but if they advocate for it, that means they want the small mom and pops to go out of business so they're able to get their foot traffic into Walmart so they can take the big hit because they got plenty of money. That's just kind of how it goes, all right? They're trying to get more money by canceling out the small business. So this whole idea of raising the minimum wage does not really make a whole lot of sense from a financial point of view. Now, personally, I know about money and business and whatnot because I've been on both sides of the equation. I've been self-employed for the past 15 years. And before that, I was doing hourly wages. I started at $6.25 and I ended at $8. So I know what it is to be counting every hour. And that's something else. If you're getting paid $15 an hour, you're getting paid on an hourly rate. So if your hours go from 40 to 20 when they raise your wage from $7.50 to $15, all you did was just take a lateral move. Yes, you're getting paid more per hour, but you're not getting any more take-home pay. You probably got to do more work in a shorter amount of time because you're still working in the same place, doing the same thing you were before. You're just getting less hours as a result. So what's the purpose? If you're going to have to do the same work in a shorter amount of time to get paid the same money, then you didn't really make yourself, it didn't really help you at all, okay? Now, you might have more time to get a second job or something like that, but you're not helping yourself at all. And a lot of these companies cannot afford to pay that kind of money in the wage increase. That's just what it is. Now, Biden said there's no evidence that raising the minimum wage causes job loss. Yes, there is. There are plenty of studies out there. There are plenty of books out there. And there's one particular study you should look at from Free out of Washington, also known as Seattle, Washington. They raised their wage up $15 an hour. And it was seen as a great thing. 5 for 15, we succeeded. I think their radical city council person, Kshama Sawant, was behind it. They had guys and girls out there, taking, they were striking from their fast food jobs with signs, 5 for 15, all this, that, and the third. When they were able to succeed and do that, a lot of small businesses, eateries, fast food, they shut down. They were cutting hours. People were getting laid off because they could not afford that very high minimum wage. All right. Walmart, Target, if you have a lot of money, a lot of cushion to be able to take a loss, to be able to go way into debt, billions into debt, you may be able to sustain the initial blow. And then when everyone else, stops, being able to serve customers, they go out of business, they reduce their productivity. When they do that, you pick up the slack. Okay, you can't go to your favorite hardware store anymore because they closed down due to the very high wages. Walmart's there. They got a whole hardware section. Come on in. So now they have taken that foot traffic and it goes into their pocket. So they're able to make more money in the volume so that can offset the very high minimum wages. And it might make more money on top of what they're making before after they account for the hike in the wages. That's kind of how they're thinking about it. But, the Democrats, they don't really think like that. They don't really care to think like that. Or maybe they do think like that, but they don't want you to know because all they want you to do is to not have facts, to be ignorant and think that raising the wage will actually help you. It will not help you. If I had my way, if I could rule by fiat, if I were a king, I would say no minimum wage at all. None. Now, some are going to say, hey, ABL, you're going to have companies trying to pay you $1 an hour, $2 an hour and force you to do it. Well, last I checked, slavery was over with a long time ago. So ain't no forcing going on. And who's going to work for that? What American citizen will work for $1 an hour? Nobody. You know, they're talking about the illegal aliens coming over here. What did Barack Obama say? They're fruit pickers and bed makers. But when they go to pick the fruit, make the beds or whatever, they're not getting paid slave wages. They're getting paid plenty of money to be out there in the fields, tending their cows and picking the fruit. I was seeing like 15 an hour, 18 an hour. The only thing about those jobs is that sometimes people don't want to do it because it's labor intensive. They rather kind of sit at the crib, you know, eating bonbons, being on the welfare benefits. But these are not low paying jobs. They pay pretty well. So this whole idea about, oh, Americans don't want to do it, that's bogus. You can go out there, get paid higher than minimum wage, and then build, save your money up and go do something else. That's how it's supposed to go. Don't have these artificial wages. Wages come from supply, demand, the industry, the place. All of that goes into the equation. Having the federal government artificially create wages does not help. All it does is create this big barrier of entry. And if you have a low amount of money, that barrier is very hard to climb over. If you are super rich, powerful, got plenty connections, got plenty capital, it's nothing for you. You can do it. But the minimum wage actually hurts the little guy, the small guy, the guy trying to get something cracking, and it helps the big guy who can take all of the small guy's business for himself and get even more money. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that I'm correct with my assertion about the minimum wage? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or am I wrong? Am I totally off point? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at with it. I say no minimum wage. If there must be one, let it be a state thing. As a matter of fact, let it be a city thing. San Fran is much different than San Diego and much different than Redding or somewhere like that in California, all in the same state. They're different places. Okay. I was reading on Twitter. Somebody said that, how can the states come up with a minimum wage? It's only a federal thing. It's called the 10th Amendment. All right. The federal wage is the floor. The state can go above that if they desire. And they also have exceptions. Okay. If you are a restaurant employee, you can get paid less than minimum wage. Okay. There's certain, you can volunteer, you can do whatever you want. All right. I would say no minimum wage, but if there must be one, let it be low. And then let each place decide what they want to do and have it be for the best interest of small businesses first, because that's the lifeblood of our nation. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.